Over 60, stop eating these vegetables. They raise stroke risk overnight. Dr. Adewale Morgan explains, if you are over 60, I want you to picture something very specific. You go to bed after what felt like a responsible evening. A salad, some steamed vegetables, maybe a side dish you have eaten 100 times before. You feel good about your choices. You did the right thing. But by morning, something is wrong. Your words come out slurred. One arm feels weak and foreign. Or you wake up dizzy without any warning or explanation. Most people assume that kind of morning belongs to someone who ate badly. Fried food, sugar, processed junk. Here is what my years of clinical work with older adults have shown me. Sometimes that morning belongs to someone who thought they were doing everything right. Sometimes it is caused by a vegetable. One you have been told for decades is heart healthy and brain protective. But after 60, it can quietly raise your stroke risk overnight. And nothing in your routine would tell you to suspect it. I am Dr. Adewale Morgan. I have watched this pattern unfold more times than a physician should be comfortable accepting in silence. Foods that served your body at 40 can work against you at 70, when combined with common medications, consumed in excess, or eaten at the wrong time. The biology of aging rewrites the rules, and most seniors are never given an updated version. But understand this before we go further. You do not need to fear food. You need to understand how your aging body processes it differently. That understanding restores your control. In today's video, I am walking you through 9 common vegetables that can quietly increase stroke risk after 60, and more importantly, the precise adjustments that let you keep eating them safely. Stay with me until the end, because the final vegetable on this list is one most seniors consume every single week, and it may carry the highest hidden risk of all. Let us start with the one almost every senior trusts without question. Vegetable number 9, spinach. For decades, spinach has been held up as one of the most powerful foods on the planet, loaded with iron, magnesium, folate, and antioxidants. If you are eating spinach regularly, you have likely been congratulating yourself for making a sound, health-conscious choice. After 60, that relationship becomes more complicated than the headlines suggest. The problem centers on oxalates, natural compounds in spinach that bind aggressively to calcium. In a younger, well-functioning body, the kidneys clear them efficiently before accumulation becomes a concern. But aging kidneys filter more slowly, blood vessels lose their elasticity, and a significant percentage of seniors take calcium or vitamin D supplements as part of a routine they were told was protective. These factors collide in a way your body at 40 never had to manage. When oxalates and calcium build up faster than the kidneys can process them, they form tiny calcium oxalate crystals in the bloodstream, which gradually narrow the small arteries that deliver oxygen to your brain, like fine sand forced through a thin pipe. Blood flow diminishes. Oxygen delivery drops. The conditions for a silent overnight stroke are quietly set. This is not a reason to remove spinach from your diet. It is a reason to respect the rules that now apply to your body, not the rules that applied when you were younger. Eat spinach earlier in the day, at breakfast or lunch when your body's metabolic capacity is at its strongest. Avoid repeatedly pairing it with calcium or vitamin D supplements in the same meal. And if you have any known kidney or cardiovascular issues, make this conversation with your physician happen this week. Spinach is still a nutritional powerhouse. Handle it correctly after 60, and it protects you. Ignore the rules, and it may work quietly against your brain while you sleep. Vegetable number 8, broccoli. Broccoli has earned its status as one of the most thoroughly studied and consistently praised vegetables in preventive medicine. Rich in fiber, antioxidants, and essential vitamins, it has been a staple of responsible eating for good reason. For most of your life, that reputation was fully justified. After 60, broccoli carries a hidden interaction that the vast majority of seniors are never warned about. The issue is vitamin K, a critical nutrient in the regulation of blood clotting. In a healthy adult not on medication, that is straightforwardly beneficial. But for seniors prescribed blood thinners such as warfarin, clopidogrel, or even a daily low-dose aspirin, significant vitamin K intake can alter the medication balance in ways that are genuinely dangerous. Too much vitamin K amplifies clotting activity and undermines the drug your physician prescribed to protect your circulation. Too little swings the risk the other direction. And the real danger is not eating broccoli. It is inconsistency. Eating large quantities one week and none the next produces unpredictable swings in vitamin K levels that destabilize your anticoagulant medication without triggering any warning sign you would recognize. You will feel nothing unusual. The first indication may be a blood pressure crisis, a bruise that will not stop bleeding, or, far worse, a stroke. The answer is not avoidance. It is consistency and communication with your doctor. Keep your broccoli intake steady week to week. Avoid oscillating between extremes, and tell your physician exactly what you eat regularly so they can calibrate your medication to your actual diet. Broccoli can still protect your heart and brain after 60. It simply requires consistency and awareness to do so safely. Vegetable number 7, romaine lettuce. A light salad at dinner feels like one of the most responsible choices an older adult can make. Low in calories, gentle on digestion, easy on the stomach. Romaine lettuce seems like the safest possible foundation for that habit. Here is what very few people are told. Romaine functions as a mild natural diuretic. It actively encourages the body to release water. In a younger adult with responsive kidneys and resilient blood vessel tone, that effect barely registers. But after 60, your kidneys operate more slowly. Your blood vessels have shed much of their former flexibility and, critically, your thirst signals have become unreliable. You can be genuinely and meaningfully dehydrated without feeling thirsty. The signal simply does not fire the way it once did. Eat a romaine salad at dinner, and as you sleep, your blood quietly thickens. That thickened blood moves sluggishly through arteries that have already stiffened with age, and small clots can form with far less resistance than they would in a younger vascular system. For seniors also taking blood pressure medications or prescribed diuretics, the dehydrating effect compounds, and the overnight window of elevated risk widens. The correction requires almost no sacrifice. Move salads to lunch or early afternoon when your hydration is at its daily peak and your circulation is actively supported by your waking activity. If you eat greens at dinner, drink a full glass of water alongside your meal and ensure you are well hydrated before going to bed. Romaine lettuce is still a valuable source of fiber, folate, and micronutrients that support both digestive and cardiovascular health. Timing is what determines whether it serves your body or quietly strains it through the night. Vegetable number 6, raw carrots. Few foods carry the same aura of straightforward safety as raw carrots. Crunchy, naturally sweet, associated with eye health and vitality since childhood. For seniors seeking a quick, wholesome snack, raw carrots appear to be the obvious, uncomplicated answer. After 60, raw carrots carry a risk that rarely gets discussed openly. Raw carrots digest rapidly, releasing their natural sugars into the bloodstream in a quick, pronounced spike. In a younger body with strong insulin response and robust metabolic function, that spike is handled efficiently and the body moves on without incident. In seniors, particularly those managing prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or simply the slower metabolism that comes with aging, that same spike initiates a chain reaction with real cardiovascular consequences. Blood sugar rises sharply, then crashes during the overnight hours. That nocturnal drop triggers the body to release cortisol and adrenaline as compensatory stress hormones. And those hormones respond by constricting blood vessels and elevating blood pressure at the exact time the body should be in full recovery mode. Add mild dehydration to that environment and the blood thickens further. You have now assembled nearly ideal conditions for small clots to form and restrict oxygen delivery to the brain. The fix is both simple and sustainable. Do not eat raw carrots alone, and do not eat them late in the evening. Enjoy them earlier in the day, consistently paired with protein or healthy fat, hummus, a small handful of nuts, plain yogurt, to moderate sugar absorption and stabilize energy through the night. Carrots are still an exceptional source of beta-carotene and antioxidants. They simply need context and timing to remain fully protective after 60. If this information is resonating with you, take a moment to like this video. It genuinely helps more seniors find this content when they are searching for answers. Subscribe to Senior Vital Health and leave a comment below. How old are you? Where are you watching from? How has your health been? I read every one of those comments, and the stories people share regularly inform what I cover next. Vegetable number 5, garlic. Garlic has been used medicinally for centuries and with good reason. It lowers blood pressure, supports cardiovascular function, fights inflammation, and bolsters immune defense. Its reputation as one of nature's most effective natural medicines is built on substantial evidence. After 60, that power does not diminish, but it becomes something that demands precise, informed management. The mechanism is straightforward. Garlic is a potent, natural blood thinner. Its allicin and sulfur compounds reduce clotting activity and keep blood moving freely, a protective effect under normal circumstances. But for seniors already taking warfarin, clopidogrel, or daily aspirin, garlic's blood-thinning power stacks on top of the medication and can push the effect dangerously far. Delicate vessels in the brain become vulnerable to bleeding rather than clotting. The outcomes can include persistent dizziness, unusual bruising, frequent nosebleeds, or in serious cases, a hemorrhagic stroke. This risk escalates sharply with garlic supplements, which deliver concentrated doses of active compounds far beyond anything you would get from a clove of garlic in a cooked meal. Unless your physician has specifically reviewed your full medication list and cleared supplementation, avoid concentrated garlic products entirely. Cooked garlic in moderate amounts remains appropriate and beneficial for most older adults. The cooking process reduces the intensity of blood-thinning compounds while preserving cardiovascular benefits. Watch for signals that your blood may be thinning excessively. Unusual bruising appearing without trauma, frequent headaches without clear cause, fatigue that does not resolve with rest. And bring those observations directly to your doctor. Garlic is a genuine gift from the natural world. After 60, give it the same respect you would give any powerful medicine. Managed correctly, it protects your heart. Used carelessly, it can quietly threaten your brain. Vegetable number 4, onions. Onions are a cornerstone of healthy cooking in virtually every culture on Earth. Rich in antioxidants, effective at lowering cholesterol, anti-inflammatory, and supportive of circulation. Among their active compounds, quercetin stands out as one of the most extensively studied anti-inflammatory agents in plant-based nutrition. After 60, that same quercetin becomes a variable that warrants careful attention. Quercetin works by relaxing and widening blood vessels, which lowers blood pressure naturally and supports circulation. In someone not on medication, that is a straightforwardly beneficial effect. But in an older adult already taking prescription antihypertensives, drugs specifically designed to reduce blood pressure, onions can amplify the medication's effect beyond the therapeutic range. Blood pressure drops further than intended, reducing oxygen delivery to the brain. The result is dizziness, mental confusion, and fatigue, symptoms that are routinely attributed to aging or mild dehydration, but which in this context represent inadequate cerebral blood flow. Overnight, when the body is naturally in a state of lower hydration and circulation is at its slowest, this combination creates a window of elevated risk for fainting episodes or mild stroke. The practical response is not elimination. It is calibration. Use onions as a supporting flavor in your cooking, not the primary ingredient of a meal. Cook them, because heat reduces quercetin's vascular potency significantly. Avoid heavy onion-dominant dishes in the evening hours when circulation naturally slows. Stay consistently hydrated throughout the day. And if you are managing blood pressure with prescription medication, report your regular dietary habits to your physician. Even modest, consistent adjustments in onion consumption can interact in meaningful ways with drug levels. Onions remain one of the most beneficial vegetables available to you. After 60, the margin between protective and problematic is simply narrower than it once was, and awareness is the tool that keeps you on the right side of it. Vegetable number 3, corn. For many seniors, corn is associated with comfort, familiar, warm, and seemingly innocent. Corn on the cob at a summer dinner, a bowl of grits, homemade corn soup. It feels like food that has never caused harm to anyone. Here is the clinical truth that the comfort obscures. Nutritionally, corn behaves far more like a starch than a vegetable. After 60, that distinction carries real consequences for your cardiovascular health. When you eat corn, your digestive system converts its natural sugars into glucose rapidly, a response similar to what your body produces when you eat white bread or processed grain products. For seniors with slower insulin response, reduced metabolic efficiency, or any degree of compromised circulation, that sharp glucose spike initiates the same dangerous overnight pattern we discussed with raw carrots. Blood sugar rises quickly, then crashes through the night. Cortisol and adrenaline surge in response, constricting blood vessels and elevating blood pressure precisely when the body is supposed to be recovering. Blood thickens. The conditions for small clot formation become favorable. Repeated over weeks and months, this cycle contributes to the kind of sustained arterial stress that measurably elevates stroke risk in older adults. The correction is manageable. Move corn-based meals to lunchtime when your body is active and better equipped to process the glucose load. Pair corn with protein or healthy fat, eggs, avocado, legumes, to slow absorption and flatten the blood sugar curve. Treat fresh corn on the cob as a periodic side dish, not a daily staple. And recognize that processed corn products, cornmeal, cornflakes, packaged snack foods, drive more aggressive blood sugar spikes than whole corn. Corn is not an enemy. It simply requires the right context after 60 to remain safely in your diet. Vegetable number 2, asparagus. Asparagus carries an image of clean, intentional, health-forward eating. It is associated with well-considered meal planning and genuine nutritional awareness. Rich in antioxidants, supportive of kidney function, and dense with folate and vitamins A and C, it earns that reputation. After 60, its diuretic effect introduces a hidden liability that timing can either create or eliminate. Asparagus actively stimulates the kidneys to excrete water, a function that works in your favor when you are well hydrated, physically active, and in the daytime hours when you can replenish what your body releases. But consumed in the evening, after your fluid intake has naturally tapered and your activity has wound down, that diuretic action turns on you. Blood thickens as water is drawn from the system. Circulation slows during sleep. In arteries that have already lost some of the suppleness they once had, thicker, more sluggish blood increases the conditions that allow small clots to form and restrict oxygen delivery to the brain. For seniors on blood pressure medications or prescribed diuretics, asparagus can compound those drugs' dehydrating effects, a combination that may not be immediately apparent but builds a meaningful overnight risk. The adjustment requires almost no sacrifice. Eat asparagus at lunch or early in the afternoon. Drink water consistently throughout the day. If you do eat asparagus at dinner, pair it with a full glass of water and a hydrating food like cucumber or sliced melon. And if you are on kidney or blood pressure medication, ask your physician specifically whether the frequency and portion size of your asparagus intake warrant any adjustment. Asparagus continues to be one of the most nutrient-dense vegetables available to you. What determines whether it serves or strains your body after 60 is simply when you eat it. Vegetable number 1, tomatoes. Tomatoes are among the most trusted foods in the senior diet. Refreshing, versatile, closely associated with heart health, the Mediterranean diet, and responsible aging. Most people would never categorize them as a concern, but after 60, tomatoes can generate circulation problems that genuinely mimic the early symptoms of stroke, and that demands a direct, plainly stated conversation. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade plant family and contain compounds including histamines, tyramines, and solanine. In a younger adult with a resilient nervous system and flexible vascular network, these compounds are processed without producing meaningful effects. In an older adult whose blood vessels have become more fragile with age and whose neurochemistry has shifted, these same substances can trigger erratic vascular responses, constricting or dilating blood vessels unpredictably, interfering with nerve signal transmission, and sustaining low-grade inflammation in the vessels that supply the brain directly. The symptoms this produces, dizziness, persistent headache, facial numbness, brief episodes of visual disturbance or disorientation, overlap uncomfortably closely with the early warning signs of a transient ischemic attack. Many people dismiss these symptoms without ever connecting them to what they ate the night before. The acidity of tomatoes creates an additional problem. That acidity disrupts electrolyte balance, specifically depleting calcium and magnesium, two minerals that are fundamental to stable nerve conduction and vascular tone. When tomatoes are consumed in large amounts, particularly close to bedtime, they can destabilize blood pressure regulation and produce circulation fluctuations during the hours when the body has the least capacity to compensate. This does not mean tomatoes need to leave your kitchen. It means they require the same intelligent, informed approach that every vegetable on this list deserves after 60. Cook tomatoes rather than eating them raw in large quantities. Cooking reduces solanine levels and dramatically increases the bioavailability of lycopene, one of the most powerful antioxidants they contain. Eat them earlier in the day. Avoid heavy tomato-based sauces or dishes as your final meal before sleep. Pair them with magnesium-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, to offset the acidity and support electrolyte stability. Tomatoes can remain a meaningful part of a heart-protective, brain-protective diet. After 60, they simply demand the same mindful engagement you now apply to everything else: timing, moderation, and clear awareness of how they interact with your body's current biology. After 9 vegetables, it would be easy to leave this conversation feeling anxious, to look at your shopping list with new suspicion and wonder how much you have been doing wrong. That is not the conclusion I want you to draw, and it is not the conclusion the evidence supports. Here is what I want you to hold. Your body after 60 is not broken. It is different. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Your blood vessels have lost elasticity. Your hydration needs have shifted, and your medications interact with food in ways that did not apply at 40. That is not failure. That is biology. And biology can be understood and worked with. The foods we discussed today are not your enemies. Spinach, broccoli, garlic, tomatoes. These remain some of the most nutrient-dense foods available to you. What changes after 60 is not whether to eat them, but how, the time of day, the portion, the pairing, the awareness of what else is in your system. A salad at noon may be one of the best investments in your cardiovascular health all day. That same salad at 10 p.m. can quietly thicken your blood while you sleep. Garlic in a cooked meal protects your arteries. Garlic supplements combined with anticoagulants can endanger your brain. The food is identical. The context determines the outcome. Timing, balance, and awareness are the instruments of longevity after 60. You are not powerless. Every deliberate choice, eating earlier, hydrating consistently, telling your doctor what is on your plate, compounds into something significant over time. Awareness is not restriction. Awareness is freedom. Medical disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Every individual's health situation is unique, particularly those managing chronic conditions or taking prescription medications. Always consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet. The partnership between you and your doctor is the most powerful health tool you have. Use it. Today, we covered 9 common vegetables that can quietly raise stroke risk when consumed incorrectly after 60, from spinach and broccoli to asparagus and tomatoes. But the core message was never fear. It was understanding. Eaten at the right time, in the right amounts, with clear awareness of your medications and your body's current needs. These foods still belong in your life, and they still protect you. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 surprised you most? And are you going to change how or when you eat any of them? Leave your answer in the comments below. Your experience may be exactly the insight another senior watching this needs to hear today. If this video served you, please like it, subscribe to Senior Vital Health, and share it with someone over 60 who deserves this information. What you place on your plate today becomes the clarity, the strength, and the independence you carry into tomorrow. Stay sharp, stay informed, stay vital. I am Dr. Adewale Morgan, and aging is not decline. It is the accumulation of everything you have learned about living well. Use it